the Hampshire village of Bewley. To some, it is merely a random cluster of old buildings. To others, English culture. Are these buildings inconvenient, drafty relics with insanely high maintenance costs? Or are they a heritage, representations of an age, tangible evidence of history that can be read like a book? This too is heritage, but to many it is junk. Rusting rubbish that clutters useful space. These old and neglected relics seem impossibly decayed. But these cars are as valuable to those who understand the language of their design as a medieval farmhouse, and just as rich in craftsmanship, history, and meaning. It is late summer, and the lanes around Lord Montagu's stately home at Bewley throb to the rumble of elderly engines.
I'd like to sign back, you can use it to pass it in a minute. Right, let's hold up there for now.
For 2 days every year, the world's biggest Autojumble is constructed in the fields near the village.
Right then, we want some organisation here now then. Yeah, grab hold of this.
Our problem today stems from the fact that we put the table in flat on the bottom, so we're having to get everything out before we can lay it out on the table. But it's always chaos. You're never going to be any different.
Autojumbles are an amateur affair, typically British, eccentric and friendly, yet devoted to just one cause: the preservation of old cars. An Austin Healey leads a two-stroke Saab through the gate.
Car down the bottom car park to the right, please.
A pre-war Wolseley Hornet, and breakfast. John Firth and his friends have brought piles of scrap all the way from Leeds, but everything has a value.
That's half a 1932 James Van engine. I think there's only about 2 left. No, one of them's without an engine.
It was made idiot-proof, but we're not really idiots.
I used to do this when I was on the clipper ships at one time.
Okay, that thing.
The minute it changes from this and gets professional, it won't be the same. It won't be the same Bewley, you know. Mind you, you do have to be professional these days in what you do, but you've got to have one weekend you have a bit of fun, you know.
On this day, one of our original stallholders, Peter Ward, is having a birthday today, so if you happen to pass by, do wish him many happy returns.
1933 Vauxhall. Humber. Got some noise. Bentley. Bentley, half a diff.
Oh, I see you are photographing it. Well done.
That's Austin 12. Hey? That's Austin 12, really. It's useless. It's worth what it weighs. It's the other half of the Bentley.
"10 o'clock and the public enter. Each one keen to find that special part, buy a complete car, or just learn more about the wreck they are determined to rebuild. The trick is to look uninterested, casual, and if possible, broke. But beneath this carefully cultivated camouflage are the expert restorers who know the value of everything.
You got the other one, have you?
I think I've enough bits. I've got to check.
Yeah.
But I think I've enough to make a pair, and then that's 120 quid.
So what's the best you can do then?
40.
40?
Yeah, that's absolutely it.
I'll think about it.
Fair enough. Is it for a 7 or a mog?
Yeah, it's for a 7. But as I say, I bought the other one yesterday for 15
Did you?
quid.
Well, you
that's,
did well.
That's 45 quid. And I got
But, I
rim
mean,
as
you
well
know,
yesterday.
I mean, I don't know. Do you want it for a repro Ulster or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what screwed the price of the lamps up. I
Yeah.
mean, they were always difficult to find.
I mean, yesterday I got a bracket and a bezel for 15 quid.
Well, you did very well, you know. But I said, that, you know, if they go back home, they're going to be a complete pair of lamps, and they'll be here next year for 120.
35.
No, £40. That's it.
You haven't got a rim anywhere.
Not here. It would have been on them, and it wouldn't have, you know, I'd have put it on if I'd have had one here. But I'm sure I got one at home, and I think I can then make a pair up.
What do you think?
Do you want? Makes up a bargain, doesn't it?
They've always been a difficult one to find, but I mean, obviously with everybody screwing Ulsters together, there's a much bigger demand now.
I'll go on, I'll have it. Begrudgingly.
It all depends how badly you want it. The same goes for complete, or rather incomplete, cars.
The vehicle's complete. Don't put any oil in yet.
For the first time, Christie's will auction rusty wrecks, rather than fully restored vehicles. Their marquee is a treasure trove of classics that have seen better days. This incomplete 1951 Jaguar XK120 Roadster has a reserve price of £12,000. One of the first Japanese classics to come under the hammer will be this 1967 rotary engine Mazda.
What can I do about that, Pat?
Sorry?
What can I do about that? What would have been on the commune? Would have been rotary, would it?
Oh yeah, that's the rotary.
More conventional is Lot 17, a 1934 Wolseley Hornet Special. Everyone is interested to see what Christie's can raise on such unpromising material. One of the first in the catalogue to go under the hammer is a completely decayed Bentley, and not even a rare one at that.
This car, may not entirely believe me, but was driven off the trailer into the marquee. Lot 21, the 47 Bentley Mark 6.
Whoever buys it will probably end up here. This stall has been pitched at Bewley for the last 20 years. Inside these anonymous red boxes are discontinued but essential oil seals.
This one here is a very scruffy looking oil seal. But very valuable. This is an Austin Big 12, heavy 12.4. 1928 to 30. Right? Although they're rusty, you see, it's been around all this time, for years and years, lying in somebody's garage. And they write to me and tell me what they've got, so I have to do a bid. But it's still usable, you see. It's cleaned up. It's not being used on a vehicle. But it's still operational, you see, because the leather inside is perfect. But it's all you can get. So one has to use it. But it's there. And being as these cars really don't do a high mileage, they only go to a show and back, does the job.
Not even an oily fingerprint spoils this rather over-restored Alvis. It's one of 40 or so privately restored cars for sale, not by auction, but by price. How about £35,000 for a rare Italian classic? An Alfa Romeo Giulietta SS. Or memories of a trip to the seaside in a mid-50s Ford Popular. Designed by Alec Isigonis, the man more famous for the Mini, the evergreen Morris Minor, in rarer drop-head form. This is a fake, a kit car based on a mid-30s Duesenberg. An original will be worth more than the total of all the cars on sale here. Well-restored chrome bumper MGBs are now among the most desirable British sports cars. In fact, if it's British sports cars you're looking for, there is nowhere better than Bewley to hear the gospel, here preached by John Peters, according to Jaguar, Chapter 1.
The history, the deviations, the cars that are not really correctly restored, or maybe things on a good car, the one or two things that might be just wrong, and to somebody who just not really familiar, it doesn't matter. Something shouts at you and says, "Oh, that's wrong, it shouldn't be like that." It might only be a little thing. It seems silly to anybody else outside, but to the cognoscenti, so to speak, you know? It's wrong, and if it's wrong, that can mean a difference. It could be, well, the difference between somebody will buy it and they won't, and with a rare car, say an XK120 fixed head, 120, which is a very low production car, isn't it? If you talk about that, I mean, that could be 60, 70,000 pound car in mint condition. But if somebody doesn't do that right, well, it could be 10,000 pounds off the price, and for something very silly, which might have cost him 500 pounds.
Great, isn't it?
This Jaguar E-Type drophead, restored to jewel-like perfection, is going for 47,000. Real style, for about the same price as a new and anonymous executive saloon. But a classic car need not be ostentatious, or even recognisably a car.
Lot 2. This is the BMW 600. Lot 2. And I have an opening offer of £400 for it, at £400. At £400, this little BMW at £400. Any advance? Yes, 450, 500. Against 250, 600, 50, 700, 750, 800, 850, 900, 50, 1,000. £1,000 beside me, at £1,000 beside me. You're out at the back at £1,000 for £1,000. The bid's beside me. Anybody else want it for £1,000? Selling on my left at 1,000 then. Last time for £1,000. David?
Built in 1957, and probably the rarest car on sale, it's a bargain.
At British Gas, we've made a commitment to our customers. If you take out a service care contract, we will do our utmost to repair your central heating system the same day. All you have to do is ring before 7:30 p.m. Putting the customer first is something British Gas aims to do worldwide. This is Canada. Last winter, British Gas bought a Canadian gas company. We now reach 1 million new customers, no matter how grisly the conditions. The world is turning to British Gas.
AA AutoQuote could find you a better deal on your car insurance. For a free quote, call free on 0800 444 777 tomorrow.
In 1977, Formula One racing was discontinued here. It was found to be too demanding, which is why BMW test their chassis and suspensions here today.
Name the last King of England. Who played Charlene in Neighbours? What is fennel? Yes, great trivia questions. If you're a trivia fan, you could win £100 every day in the Evening Herald's great new trivia quiz. It's easy, it's fun, and it's in your Evening Herald all this week. Best for local news, sport and entertainment.
Just look at all that ground-in grime. I can't see anything shifting that.
Don't tell me. These stubborn stains are impossible.
Sorry, love.
This grease, it hasn't budged.
It just never gets deep down clean, does it?
Typical. They've never heard of Shell Advanced Petrol.
Yeah. It's got special detergents that actually clean your engine while you're driving.
Exactly. And if you use it regular, it can improve your car's performance.
You think they'd know that?
Of course you would.
Right, see you next week, lads.
Do you know where this goes?
Shell Advanced Petrol cleans your engine as you drive.
I'm just over the rim now, to the west, Gustav Holm, but in front of me, the spectacular Mount Forel Glacier. Since the Ice Age, this mighty glacier has gouged its unstoppable path to the Straits of Denmark, where it breaks off into the sea to form massive Carlsbergs.
cars.
Sorry. Are the footprints a problem?
Just wait at the bottom, there's a good chap.
I feel a complete amateur.
No, honestly, you mustn't.
I started using my moisturiser years ago, but it only feels like yesterday.
Oil of Ulay. What else?
Little I caught Henry, 2.5 years old, blonde, blue top, green shorts. If you'd like to have a look around, you can find him, bring him back to Autojumble Control, please.
The classic car Autojumble at Bewley is really a festival of eccentricity. Even so, some are on the fringes of credibility.
I'm trying to buy a body for my Rolls Royce, and I can't find one. I live in Poland, and I'm trying to restore the car over there. So we just arrived last night, and I'm trying to find a body shell. I'm hoping I can find one here. If I don't find it here, I guess I'm dead.
Humphrey Bogart used to own a Rolls Royce, and for a moment...
Well, I took it there because I couldn't afford to restore it anywhere else, and I got deeper and deeper involved in restoring the car, and now I'm at a point where it's so deteriorated I have to find a body shell. I'm hoping I'll find one here.
No. I've got some 10s at home. Yeah. If you want to go to 10s, there'll be 50 quid. Yeah. You might as well.
John Barlow knows Austin Sevens inside out. Confronted with detail like this, he needs to.
Pinion shaft, lock-in washer, and on the main shaft, and then the small lock-in washer where the flange is on the up the end of the pinion shaft.
Not unless you can use either that or that would probably be fairly near.
This is the pinion one, I think. That looks
that's for front camshaft.
Is it? Yeah, well, that one's the size of the small one.
Oh, well, that might do.
And then I need a bigger one over the
Yeah.
shaft, which is
One
bigger
of
than
those
these.
two.
It's bigger than those.
Bigger than those two.
Yeah.
After that, you can only go. They're rear hub ones,
That's
ideally.
right. Yeah.
So.
But I'll take that one then.
Right.
And
Okay.
as well.
Right.
The blunt request for a Rolls-Royce body is phasing the stall holders. So Bogart tries for the small parts first.
These are little parts and bits and pieces for post-war Mulliner or James Young or any kind of Rolls crank handle, switch for the hood to make it go up and down, a dome light switch, and catches and.
Right. Now the overcent, I think probably those, a lot of them you get from that chappie in the export centre in London. I'm trying to think of his name and I can't. If you can give me a phone number, because there is a place in London who does a lot of post-war, and also the other people to contact is W.A. Price.
Oh yeah,
because they break quite a few.
Yeah, I have them right here.
W.A. Price. Yeah, I was going to say they break quite a lot.
Okay.
And you might well find.
How about
it.
a body shell? Would you have a body shell?
I haven't got a body shell, no.
Okay,
but
for a cloud.
A cloud. Well, that's a cloud, an ordinary standard steel cloud.
or a Bentley S1. You know.
Right. Well. Certainly prices would have those.
Okay.
Because they break quite a lot of those. All right. And I'm certain that...
For every make, there is an expert. And with advice of the first-time buyer, Classic Car magazine has laid on its club editor, Malcolm Mackay.
I would look first of all at the state of the sills. There's some underseal over here that is flaking off. It may be quite rusty underneath. Again, there's filler in the top of this wing. You look for all the water traps and all the mud traps. Check underneath to make sure that the chassis members are in reasonable condition.
A tatty 1964 Vauxhall Viva might not be everyone's idea of a classic.
It would be a shame if cars like this disappeared completely, because they are part of Britain's motoring heritage. There would be no point in just having all the exotic cars left if we didn't have the standard family cars to compare with them.
A better investment, surely, is this, the last of the great Rovers. Or even an original Mini.
It seems silly to pay £3,500 for an old Mini, doesn't it? But it's very, very nice and very, very original. It all looks as it should be under the bonnet, and all the original features in the interior, which are very nice to see. The original door pulls, the correct seat trim. These early ones were very prone to water leaks into the footwells, and that can rot them out very badly. On the other hand, it's very easy to buy all the necessary panels to repair them, and you can rebuild almost anything nowadays.
Including a 1949 Triumph Roadster that once looked like this one in the auction. But choosing the right wreck to invest in is where the real expertise shows.
Well, this does look a heap, doesn't it? It's an Austin Shearline limousine. Very nice car in its day, but it's led a very hard life and it's in very poor condition now. This would be almost impossibly expensive to restore. The interior is all leather and it's completely ruined. The dashboard, all the wood has been affected by water and would all have to be completely replaced. A lovely character car, but unbelievably expensive to restore. And body panels will almost certainly be completely unavailable at the moment. A restoration of something like this could only be undertaken by a real enthusiast. If you had it professionally restored, it would probably cost you £30,000 to £40,000, and it would be worth about £5,000 to £10,000.
The key to rebuilds is the ratio of rust to restored value. This is a completely rotten but quite rare 1936 SS Jaguar.
The 1936 SS Jaguar 2.5 litre, lot 40, and I'm going to start this at £11,000. £11,000 is bid. £11,000 the Jaguar. 11,000. Any advance on £11,000? 11,000. Yes, sir. 12,000. 13,000. 14,000. 15,000. 16,000. 17,000. £17,000 against you. That's 17,000. That's £17,000. Any advance on 17,000? That's £17,000. 18,000. One more. 19,000. 20,000. No. At £20,000 there then. At £20,000. At £20,000 on my right. At £20,000. You're all done. Last time, but 21,000 on the telephone. Against you now at 21 on the telephone. 21,000, 22,000. 22 in the room at £22,000. You're all down for 22. 23,000 she's back at 23,000. At £23,000 now. Give it one more chance at 23,000.
Christers were right. Someone else's rust is gold dust.
At £23,000 on the telephone. All at 24,000. £24,000. Hurry you at £24,000 in the room. Last chance. 24,500. Yes? Is that a bid? 24,500. 24,500 on the telephone now. Make it around 25. No. Last chance at 24,500. 24,500. Round it up for me at 25. At £24,500. At £24,500. Absolutely sure. Finished at £24,500. All done. Thank you. Telephone.
It'll cost £50,000 to restore and probably sell again for 3 times that. At Bewley, most people are passionate about one make of car, and sometimes just one model. Even so, with care and patience, the right parts are here, somewhere. But what is the attraction of taking a box of dismantled bits and halting its decline into scrap?
It's a challenge, I think. It's looking like a mechanical puzzle. And Well, that's something I'm interested in technical things, and you know, something which I enjoy doing. I suppose you're sort of trying to place yourself in the mentality of the people who thought of the cars or designed them in the first place. Trying to understand, well, why they put things together in the way they did. It's obviously a high-quality vehicle, a sort of poor man's Bentley, I suppose. Which I can identify myself with, I suppose, rather than with a Bentley.
If a pre-war Rover is a poor man's Bentley, what's an old petrol can and a model railway carriage? Toys. That's what. This is mostly a boy's world. A time warp, where lads who have to play at being men or weak can reverse into lost youth. Classic cars have become a massive subculture of enterprise, enthusiasm, and knowledge. And there are bargains still to be had. This, believe it or not, is one. An extremely rare Railton Terraplane, smashed beyond recognition. It was auctioned for £2,200. When restored, it will fill a small but important missing link in the often neglected history of technology.
If this was the paintwork on your vehicle, I think just at once you'd be a little bit worried about it. Because the worst enemy of any paintwork, as you know, is the heat from the sun. That is what oxidizes your paintwork, causes it to fade, otherwise known as a bloom. Take a hot painted surface, cool it down rapidly with cold water. Anybody out there in the trade will tell you you'd expect that to blister, to bubble, to crack, and to start peeling off. Sir, without burning your hands, put your hand onto where I've set light to that, please, and tell me if it's still quite hot, yes?